Hello everyone, welcome once again to the channel of REATA, a channel created to share knowledge about rawhide leather crafting. Today, continuing the guide that we had started, we are going to make the braid of 4. This braid has the particularity of having two variants, a flat variant and a round variant. Let's start with the flat one. To start, we have our cords tied to our support. In the previous video I explained how to tie these cords to the support, and also what we are going to do is moisten the cords with our product for braids. We moisten. This makes it easier to manipulate and that the braid is well moistened and symmetrical. We are going to do the flat variant first. To start, we use the two middle cords and we pass the one on the right over the one on the left. Then we do the one on the left over one. And we go to work with the one on the far right and we do under one, over one. This is how the braid begins. Then we continue with the one on the far right goes under one. And the one on the far left goes over one, under one. To pull this braid, what we do is pull to the sides and down. We accommodate and continue. The one on the left goes over one, the one on the right goes under one, over one. As you can see, it is very easy and very nice. The one on the left goes over one, the one on the right goes under one, over one. We always have to remember to pull each pass we make so that the cords are accommodated and the braid is as symmetrical and even as possible. We continue. The one on the left goes over one, the one on the right goes under one, over one. It's pretty easy, and that's how the whole section continues. It starts with the one on the left, which goes over one, and the one on the right goes under one, over one. And the one on the right goes under one, over one. To pull, we go down into the sides, exercising traction. We continue. Over one, under one, over one. As you can see, it is a fairly easy braid and very simple to do. It is on this side, like this. There, as you can see, it is flat. This braid can be used to make belts, to make wreaths, wallet straps, and a number of things that may occur to us. One last pass, and with that we cut the flat braid and go to the round one. We do the one on the left over one and the one on the right under one, over one. We take two cords, one with each hand, and pull. Very well, that's the 4 flat braid. Now we are going to cut the video and I'm going to teach you how to make the round braid. Now we are going to learn how to make the other variant of the braid of 4, which would be the round braid of 4. This braid is used very commonly by us to make what are the REATAs, lariats, ranch ropes. It is a braid that looks like a rope, and that being made with individual leather cords, braided, interlaced between each other, gives a very, very high resistance to our work. That is why it is used to make the REATAs. Very well, let's get started. To make the round braid of 4, we also begin to work on the two cords in the center. We pass the one on the left over the one on the right. Now we go to the end of the right and we pass over one. The one on the end of the left goes under one, over one, in this way. And that is the beginning of our braid. Remember that it is always convenient to hydrate our cord so that the braid is better and easier to work. To continue, we are going to start with the cord on the left and we go under the whole braid. I'm going to show you slowly and well separated so that you can understand. We pass the cord under the whole braid and we leave one out. As you can see, here is the side of the meat or fat towards me. But what I'm going to do now is turn it again and do it over one. There is the side of the hair towards me, which is how the braid would normally be. Now let's see that there is always a cord behind. What we are going to do is, that tells us that we have to work with this cord. Now what we do is the same movement but on the opposite side. With the cord on the right we go under the whole braid, turning it like this. We leave one out and turn over one again. Now we pull. Now, as it was behind the one on the left, we know that we have to continue with this one. We do it under the whole braid, like this, and turn over one. We pull and we are accommodating the passes so that it begins to take shape and to be well tightened. It gives a greater resistance to our braid. We continue. Here, as you can see, the one that was left behind is the one on the right. So it goes under the whole braid, leaves one out and turns over one. The one on the left, under the whole braid, turns over one. There, as you can see, it begins to take a rounded shape or similar to a rope, which is precisely what we want. That is why the variant of this braid is round. Now we go to the one on the right, we do over one. The one on the left, under the whole braid, over one. When we make two passes, what we do is individually pull each of the cords. Then, in this way, the passes are adjusted and it is well, even, and symmetrical. Now, we will always realize which cord we have to work with because it is the one that is behind the line of the other three. In this case, as you will notice, the one on the right, this is done below the whole braid, like this, over one. On the left, now, under the whole braid, we always leave one out, which is the one we continue working on the next pass. And we pull. We leave this one under the whole braid, over one. Now this one. As you can see, it is quite fast, easy to do, and it helps us to make ties. It is always highly recommended, in fact it is almost an essential requirement, that every one or two passes that we make, we pull the laces so that they are aligned and tight. Only in this way the braid will be very neat. In addition, if there is any loose, when we make the loop, when we fold it, it will come out, it will be noticeable and it will be ugly. If we are pulling, each of the cords will be molded to those that surround it and there it will be very even. This, if in the case of making a REATA, it is always convenient to tie it on a support that is very resistant and pull each of the cords with the force of the body, that is, with all the necessary and possible force, but always taking into account that force that we do has to be the same for each of the cords, because if we pull with more force to one and less force to another, it will make the braid asymmetrical or uneven. Well, as you can see, it looks like this. A structure is formed like rhombuses in each pass of the cords and a round braid is left, that is, similar to a rope. In the event that we get tired and we want to stop braiding, it is always, always, always very, very important to take this into account. We are going to see the cord with which we would have to make the pass. In this case it is the one behind everything, which would be the one on the right. We will always realize that because it is the one that is behind the other three. As you can see there is a line, there is one behind that is this. When we are going to leave the braid to continue later or we are going to rest, what we have to do is take the cord with which we would go to work on that pass and tie it this way, like this and like this. In this way, what we do is prevent our braid from being disarmed for any reason and, more importantly, we have indicated with which cord we are going to work, because if we let it loose, this can happen to us. Like this or like this, and there we will not know which cord to work with, so it is always good to have it identified so that when we go back to work it does not get complicated and we can have a problem and we have to disarm everything and start again or spend a long time trying to understand and identify which one we should work with. For example, here, the cord with which we should work, if you notice, was behind the other three. It is the one on the left, so we would tie it like this. I show you one more time so that it is like this and like this. With this simple action, we avoid several problems. I tell you because it has happened to me several times that it disarms me and then I do not know where to start. Well friends, that's all. I hope it has been helpful. Anything that is not clear you can consult us. It is a very useful braid that can also be used to make keychains, bracelets, or any element that requires some kind of rope, because this braid resembles a rope. That's all for today. If you liked the video, you can leave us a like, activate the bell and share with your colleagues or acquaintances who believe that this knowledge may be useful to them. See you in the next video to make the braid of 5. See you later.